Welcome to Scary Mystery Surprise,
where we talk about creepy things that surprised us around the internet.
I'm Edwin.
I'm Michelle. Surprise!
Surprise! Hold on, no. Let's just count it off.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Surprise!
Surprise!
It's Michelle.
And it's Edwin, and we have another episode today about...
Oh, I'm excited about this one.
Oh, you know what this is about.
Oh, yeah. I know what it's about because I grew up in the Northwest, and this story is iconic and weird.
Super weird.
Super weird.
Yeah, I looked at it. This is kind of disgusting. Michelle likes it.
I love it. I think it's that dark humor of the Northwest. It's never sunny there. Never. Unless it's, sunny. But it's very rarely sunny there.
So it's true then, Michelle, right? So it's true that it's like people are just depressed there.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's 9 months of gray. I wrote this whole intro to just drive that home.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
So today we're talking about the phenomenon of the feet of the Northwest. It's August 20th, 2007. Imagine a cold gray day on a rocky beach. You thought it was going to be nice because it's August, but joke's on you because it's the Northwest and it's just a gray sky meeting a gray sea and just an endless void of gray. Did the sun rise today? You'll never know. Imagine the sound of a ferry boat and seagulls in the distance. A 12-year-old girl is playing at the beach. Between the rocks and the driftwood, she spots a shoe. It's blue and white. It's a running shoe, men's size 12. She looks inside. She sees a sock. Inside that sock, she finds a decomposing foot.
Michelle, what?
And thus starts our journey of the phenomenon of the Northwest feet.
So specific with the foot size, the shoe size and everything.
There's a reason I shared that. Because these are some jokes I wrote underneath that. Can you imagine the parents' horror as she was like, look at this? And then all I could think about was my dad freaking out when my brother stuck his finger in goose poop. So can you imagine somebody bringing like a decomposing foot? Can you imagine that? Anyway, and then I wrote, I hope they brought some hand sanitizer.
Oh, man, I love it. But so specific. Why a 12-year-old? Oh, this is a real thing?
This is a real thing. This is the first one that they found. A 12-year-old girl found the foot on the beach. And then 6 days later, August 26th, a couple that was walking on another Northwest beach found another sneaker shoe, a white Reebok, men's size 12, but the feet didn't belong together. Clearly because the shoes were different, but also they were both right feet.
By this time, did people already know, somebody found a foot?
Yeah, that was the first news story. The little girl found the foot. The news ate it up because that's so weird. 6 days later, another foot is found. Like, what?
Wow. No, I mean, that's coincidence. What a coincidence.
Super weird. The next year, 5 more feet appear in neighboring beaches.
What? Okay.
The discoveries alarm the public, obviously. What is it?
And what are people saying? What are they like?
As someone who was up there when this is happening, I was like, oh, it's a serial killer. For a while, they were all like right foots. Like it was very weird. And I remember like clearly getting an image in my mind of a boat propeller cutting off feet, which I'm just like, why is this in my mind?
People on a boat party just like dangling their feet into the motor. And did they ever find the other foot of the first guy?
No.
What?
See, that's what's very weird. So over the next 12 years, 15 more feet wash ashore on Vancouver Island and in the network of waterways called the Salish Sea. And then 6 more feet turn up in the Puget Sound, which is where I'm from, which is like kind of at the southern part of the Salish Sea. So every one of those shoes was found in a sneaker, except for the very last one, which was in an old hiking boot. And every time a foot would wash up, the media'd go crazy. Like, it's every time. It's amazing. It's top breaking news. And then theories would be serial killers. Psychics would call in for tips. People even thought it was aliens, which I thought was hilarious, but I'm not sure how it would be aliens. Just like aliens with a foot fetish or something. I'm not quite sure. But taking one foot and not the other foot.
I think serial killer is probably the more...
especially with all it being the Northwest, right? I think what was it, Dexter? Didn't he have his burial ground underwater?
I'm curious about what the psychics said.
I know, me too. I actually read like a quote from a police officer that was like, and every time a psychic would call and offer to help. It was just like
every time.
And of course, hoaxes. Of course, people came out of the woodwork and started making fake feet for the beach. They would put chicken bones in sneakers, and then someone put a skeletonized dog paw in a sneaker.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know. I was like, "What? Oh. That guy should be arrested." Like, where did he get a skeletonized dog paw?
Oh no, that's terrible. Yeah, you don't do that. I mean, a human foot, I get it, but.
Yeah, everybody gets it. A human foot, come on, everybody gets it.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's kind of disgusting, though.
I know. Oh. I just think it's funny because it's like, oh yeah, of course the hoaxsters came out for this. Of course they did. But, I mean, why just feet? Why weren't full bodies washing ashore?
Why just one foot? Did they ever find a pair? I'm so interested in this.
Sometimes they'd find a pair, but not necessarily always. Usually it was singles.
That's terrible. Did you find anything about the aliens and what?
I know. I wish I had. I always find this such a good jumping off point for a story, right? Like a little girl finds a foot. That's like the best start of any murder story or supernatural story you could ever have.
Yeah, when you were first starting the story right now, I was like, okay, so little girl. And then the Pacific Northwest, so you're like, okay, something terrible happened. And then she finds a foot, which is weird. I don't know. That's weird.
And you're just like, oh, what happened? Like, you just can't not be what happened here. Like, what? This isn't normal. People don't just find feet. Well, except in the Northwest, they find feet, but I guess that's pretty normal. That's pretty normal.
Goodness. Okay, so scientifically.
Okay.
What happened?
Well, okay, so this is the thing, right?
Hold on. Do you have any other, were there any interesting theories, anything else before you tell me the reason why?
I'm trying to think of, there was any other interesting... I mean, besides my own theories about there being a serial killer that was just cutting up feet, which it really did seem like for a while that there was a serial killer that might have been cutting up feet.
Interesting. Or a shark just kind of biting feet off.
I mean, any theories, but they're all wrong because science explains it all. Science. Explaining the feet of the Northwest. Vancouver and Seattle in the Northwest is a highly populated area, and with that comes accidents and suicides, just because it's a metropolitan area. Bodies sink, and in cold water, they don't bloat with gas and they don't float. And so one thing that they noticed about the feet is that none of them were cut. They were all naturally disarticulated from decomposition.
Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah. So somebody drowns. They sink to the bottom. And then as they decompose, the weakest joints are our wrists and our ankles. As we decompose, they just naturally disarticulate and come off.
Okay. I thought Okay.
Some of the bodies have been identified with DNA and have been known to come from accidents and suicide. But here's the thing. Because of tennis shoes, modern sneakers float. So basically, because of the Salish seas and the currents, they wash everything ashore, and so these shoes just set sail once they float up, and they go to shore. And that's it.
It's like they have a life of their own. Like they just kind of...
They just bob up to the surface, and they just set sail.
And off they go.
And off they go. And that's...
On an adventure.
Yeah, and it's because it gets sensationalized in the media that it seems like there's tons of feet washing up on shore. But there's not that many feet washing up on shore compared to how many people die in the water every year. Who goes missing and like all that stuff. So,
and are those people from there, Michelle? Like, are they from that area?
Yeah, most of them are from that area. Like, they had some examples of like a fisherman who died in an accident, like things like that, where they were able to identify with DNA, or like someone who was depressed, they were able to identify that this person was like last seen on a bridge or something like that. They found some of the feet, who some of the feet belong to.
Geez, so the rest of the body just kind of gets eaten up or decomposed on its own, and
yeah, it just stays at the bottom.
Oh, that's kind of sad. I wonder what kind of brand showed up the most. Like Reebok,
Nike,
Adidas.
Let's get a sponsor for the Northwest Feet. The weird thing is, it's almost because of the Salish Sea and the currents in the Salish Sea, because like there are like one-offs in other places where a foot will show up, but because of the way modern shoes are made and and the currents,
they float.
But also, it's not unusual for weird feet to show up in the Northwest, because in British Columbia in 1887, there was a leg in a boot that washed up, and they named it Leg in a Boot Square.
There's a name.
There's a name.
It's like...
Yeah, and so they just named the square after
Leg in a Boot Square.
In Vancouver.
Interesting. So it just washed up.
Yeah, they said they thought it was the remains of a man who drowned in the river the previous summer. But it just shows that there's a history of feet washing up in the Northwest, like specifically feet.
I don't know if you've ever seen a shoe, Michelle, but I've seen shoes like in the...
You just asked me if I'd ever seen a shoe.
You've never seen like shoes like in the water? Like you've never wondered? Like now you're making me think twice. Like I've seen shoes like kind of just lost there. Like even in those, you know those what are they called? Like riverbeds, like running along, those dirty LA ones. I've seen shoes along there.
Look, all I'm saying is if you look in that shoe, you don't know what's going to happen. Or you do.
Oh, jeez. Find a foot in there. Your laugh. And the foot doesn't decompose. Like the foot.
Well, it's like decomposing, but it's like the sneaker protects it. So it's less decomposed than the rest. Because like most of the time, these bodies, it's been like months since they've disappeared. They've been gone a while. The last sneaker foot was found in 2018. And then I just wrote, suspicious.
Super suspicious.
Oh, so the serial killer stopped killing? Like, if you don't have witnesses, you can't tell what happened to anybody.
From the psychics, Michelle. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The psychics could have been doing this the whole time. The cops weren't asking the right questions. They could have figured this all out. God, what dummies.
The psychics know. I mean, I don't know why we even have police, Michelle. Like, we could just ask a psychic, like, what happened to this foot? And they're just like, yeah, well, this was suicide, obviously.
Obviously.
They just know. And then you take that to court. You know?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm fine with the court of psychic opinion. I have no problem with that. And then the psychic will be like, no, this is just chicken bones. This is just chicken bones wrapped in a sock.
And there's a show about psychics, or a YouTube channel or something about psychics finding out what happened with crime. So
look, I think there's something to it sometimes. Also, sometimes there's probably not. You know what I mean? Like, it just depends. But yeah, finding out what happened, sure. Finding out where something is might be tougher. But finding out what happened, sure.
Yeah, either way, I think it's kind of sad. I mean, sneakers, I don't know. I imagine runners or imagine just, I don't know why, just, people. I always imagine people in the up there in the Pacific Northwest just being super active, flannels and.
Yeah, lots of North Face tech vests.
I imagine them being super active, having the time of their lives, just, the Subaru commercial.
Lots of Subarus up there.
And then they just die.
Yeah, they didn't just die. I mean, they didn't keel over and die in the water. I mean, their feet floated.
That's terrible. Oh my God.
Don't ruin this story for me. I love this story.
I don't know. I think, I kind of have what do you call it when you're not afraid? No, you don't have a fear of feet, but you're just feet. You're just ugh.
The opposite of a fetish. The opposite of a foot fetish. A repulsion to feet? Is it?
It's just why feet? For example, I can't imagine those people that do pedicures. I'm like, how do you do that?
That's fair. I couldn't do that. Strange people's feet. That's a lot.
Yeah. And then there's people that love feet.
Yeah.
There are a lot of side gigs there, just sending pictures of feet and selling them.
Some guy at a where was I? I think I was at St. Vinny's, St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. And some guy tried to buy my shoes that I was wearing. He just came up and asked if he could buy my shoes. And I was like, no, I need to wear them. And he was like, oh, but I'm a photographer and they're the perfect shoes that I need. And he had on plastic gloves, hair dye gloves. And he was wearing these dirty sweats. And I was like, no, I need my...
Was this in LA? Was this here?
Yeah, this was definitely in LA. It was definitely a weird moment. But then I thought about it later. I didn't sell him my shoes, but I was like, man, he was going to give me $20 for these beat up shoes and I should have just done it.
Just walk home without shoes.
Yeah, I'll just buy some at the thrift store and, deal with it. But
what kind of shoes were they? Were they just...
They were little blue, ballet flats or something. They were really cheap. They were just blue. That was the only thing that was exciting about them.
Yeah, there's strange people out there. There's strange people that are into feet. That's why when I saw the article, I'm like, the feet? What did you say?
You were horrified. The Northwest feet?
Because you emailed me, the Northwest feet story. And I was like, okay, click. Let's just see. Let's just see
what she's gonna do.
Let's see what it's about.
I'm grossed out by this, but we'll just see what she does.
Either way, I think first of all, I think it's sad. I think a lot of these stories are sad, right?
Yeah, of course.
But it is strange. When you were, telling me, they found a foot, then another one, and then 5 more, and then 10 more.
Well, I think it's a phenomenon. I honestly think it is more of a phenomenon. If a corpse ends up in the water in that area, its feet might end up on shore. It's just the natural elements combining into this weird thing.
And you've told me things about the Pacific Northwest, and sounds cool, honestly. Sounds like a place I'd like to live in.
It's okay.
Bigfoot.
Enjoy your 9 months of gray. Enjoy that.
Yeah, I would do it.
The summer's great up there. I was being a little facetious. August 20th, 2007 was probably a great day, weather-wise, before she found the foot.
So there were stories before then, Michelle?
Historically, but there weren't any... this is the big one that, started the whole conspiracy. It, made all the big news. David Letterman had someone on talking about it. Everybody was talking about it.
Creepy and kind of nasty.
Oh, 100% nasty. I think you're guaranteed to find a foot if you ever look at a shoe.
Wonder what happened to that little girl.
She probably turned into me. And I was that little girl.
And I was that little girl.
And here I am. No, I'm much older than that.
Oh, jeez. This thing might still keep happening. We might still keep finding...
I know. I keep finding feet.
Also, you know what? I forgot to tell you this theory too, Michelle. You know how people come up with movie things and they're like, oh, this is going to be a movie. And this is why they're trying to make this a thing. So this could have been, I don't know, advertising. You know how they did the whole, there's a creature that...
Oh, a stunt?
A stunt. There you go. Like just a stunt, like an ad stunt. Try to get people to talk about it, get it on the news. But maybe the movie would have been like, I don't know, what would have been called, like
Saw. It would have been like an advertisement for Saw. They put feet in the ocean.
For Saw, or like a new movie like Foot of the Sea.
That new hit, Foot of the Sea, starring Kevin Costner.
Coming to theaters. What?
I don't know. Kevin Costner was in Waterworld. Why not Foot of the Sea? He could be in my Foot of the Sea movie.
Foot of the Sea, coming this summer. So what'd you guys think of that? I was disgusted.
We found out that Edwin doesn't like feet today. Too bad we did a whole episode on it. But anyway, be sure to listen to the show wherever you get your podcast.
And if you have an idea for a scary mystery surprise for us, make sure to send us an email at hello@scarymysterysurprise.com. Till next time.